Welcome back to the complete 54 book Apocrypha we have been reading. Please make sure that you like, subscribe, watch to the end, and comment. But please don't comment on how I am probably going to mispronounce some of these ancient places and names. I will do the best I can. Today we are going to read Judith, chapters 1, 2, and 3. So join me if you have it. If not, sit back and enjoy the reading of the Apocrypha. Judith, chapter 1. In the 12th year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, who reigned over the Assyrians in Nineveh, the great city, in the days of Arphaxad, who reigned over the Medes in Ecbatana, and built around Ecbatana walls of hewn stones, 3 cubits broad and 6 cubits long, and made the height of the walls 70 cubits, and its breadth 50 cubits, and set its towers at its gates, 100 cubits high, and its breadth in the foundation was 60 cubits, and made its gates, even gates that were raised to the height of 70 cubits, and their breadth 40 cubits, for his mighty army to go out of, and the setting in array of his footmen. Even in those days King Nebuchadnezzar made war with King Arphaxad in the great plain. This plain is on the borders of Regau. There came to meet him and all that lived in the hill country, and all that lived by Euphrates, Tigris, Hydaspes, in the plain of Arioch, the king of the Elamaeans. Many nations of the sons of Cleod assembled themselves to the battle, and Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, sent all who lived in Persia and all who lived westward, to those who lived in Cilicia, Damascus, Libanus, Anti-Libanus, and to all who lived along the sea coast, and to those among the nations that were of Carmel and Gilead, and to the higher Galilee, and to the greater plains of Australion, and to all who were in Samaria and its cities, and beyond Jordan to Jerusalem, Bethane, Chelas, Kadesh, the river of Egypt, Tahpanhes, Ramses, and all the land of Goshen, until you come above Tanis and Memphis, and to all that lived in Egypt, until you come to the borders of Ethiopia. All those who lived in the land made light of the command of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, and did not go with him to war, for they were not afraid of him, but he was before them as one man. They turned away his messengers from their presence without effect and with disgrace. And Nebuchadnezzar was exceedingly angry with all this land, and he swore by his throne and kingdom that he would surely be avenged on all the coast of Cilicia, Damascus, Syria, and that he would kill with his sword all the inhabitants of the land of Moab, and the children of Ammon, all Judea, and all that were in Egypt, until you come to the borders of the 2 seas. And he set the battle in array with his army against King Arphaxad in the 17th year, and he prevailed in his battle, and turned to flight all the army of Arphaxad, with all his horses and all his chariots. He became master of his cities, and he came even to Ecbatana, and took the towers, plundered the streets, and turned its beauty into shame. He took Arphaxad to the mountains of Regau, struck him through with his darts, and utterly destroyed him to this day. He returned with them to Nineveh, he and all his company of various nations, an exceedingly great multitude of men of war, and there he took his ease and banqueted, he and his army, for 120 days. Chapter 2. In the 18th year, the 22nd day of the first month, there was talk in the house of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, that he should be avenged on all the land, even as he spoke. He called together all his servants and all his great men, and communicated with them his secret counsel, and concluded that afflicting of all the land out of his own mouth, they decreed to destroy all flesh which did not follow the word of his mouth. It came to pass, when he had ended his counsel, Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, called Holofernes, the chief captain of his army, which was next after him, and said to him, the great king, the Lord of all the earth, says, behold, you will go out from my presence and take with you men who trust in their strength, to 120,000 footmen and 12,000 horses with their riders. And you will go out against all the west country, because they disobeyed the command of my mouth. You will declare to them that they should prepare earth and water, because I will go out in my wrath against them, and will cover the whole face of the earth with the feet of my enemy, and I will give them as plunder to them. Their slain will fill their valleys and brooks, and rivers will be filled with their dead until it overflows. And I will lead them captive to the utmost parts of the earth. But you will go out and take all their coasts for me first. If they will yield themselves to you, then you must reserve them for me until the day of their reproof. As for those who are disobedient, your eye will not spare, but you will give them up to be slain and to be plundered in all your land. For as I live, and by the power of my kingdom, I have spoken, and I will do this with my hand. Moreover, you will not transgress anything of the commands of your Lord, but you will surely accomplish them as I have commanded you. You will not defer to do them. So Holofernes went out from the presence of his Lord and called all the governors, the captains, the officers of the army of Asher. He counted chosen men for the battle, as his Lord had commanded him, to 120,000, with 12,000 archers on horseback. He arranged them as a great multitude is ordered for the war, as ordered for the war. He took camels and donkeys and mules for their baggage, an exceedingly great multitude, and sheep and oxen and goats without number for their provision, and great store of rations for every man, and exceedingly much gold and silver out of the king's house. He went out, he and all his army, on their journey, to go before King Nebuchadnezzar and to cover all the face of the earth, westward, with their chariots, horsemen, and chosen footmen. A great company of various nations went out with them, like locusts and like the sands of the earth, for they could not be counted by reason of their multitude. And they departed out of Nineveh 3 days' journey toward the plain of Bechteleth. They encamped from Bechteleth near the mountain which is at the left hand of the upper Cilicia. And he took all his army, his footmen, horses, and chariots, and went away from there into the hill country, and destroyed Put and Lud, and plundered all the children of Rasus and the children of Ishmael, which were along the wilderness to the south of the land of the Chileans. And he went over Euphrates, and went through Mesopotamia, and broke down all the high cities that were on the river Arbani, and Arbani, until you come to the sea. And he took possession of the borders of Cilicia, and killed all that resisted him, and came to the borders of Japheth, where they were toward the south, opposite Arabia. He surrounded all the children of Midian, and set their tents on fire, and plundered their sheepfolds. He went down into the plain of Damascus in the days of the wheat harvest, and set their fields on fire, and utterly destroyed their flocks and herds, and plundered their cities, laid their plains waste, and struck all their young men with the edge of the sword. And the fear and the dread of him fell on those who lived on the sea coast, and on those who were in Sidon and Tyre, and those who lived in Sur and Achina, and all who lived in Gemnon. Those who lived in Azotus and Ashkelon feared him exceedingly. Chapter 3. And they sent to him messengers with words of peace, saying, Behold, we are the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, the great king. We lie before you. Use us as it is pleasing in your sight. Behold, our dwellings and all our country, and all our fields of wheat, and our flocks and herds, and all the sheepfold of our tents lie before your face. Use them as it may please you. Behold, even our cities and those who dwell in them are your servants. Come and deal with them as it is good in your eyes. So the men came to Holofernes and declared to him according to these words. He came down toward the seacoast, he and his army, and sent garrisons in the high cities, and took out of them chosen men for allies. He received them, they and all the country around them, with garlands and dances and timbrels. He cast down all their borders and cut down their sacred groves. It had been given to him to destroy all the gods of the land, that all the nations would worship Nebuchadnezzar only, and that all their tongues and their tribes would call on him as God. Then he came down toward Esdraelon, near Dotea, which is opposite the great ridge of Judea. He camped between Geba and Cycloth-Apollos, and was there a whole month, that he might gather together all the baggage of his army. Please like, subscribe, comment below, and join me for the rest of Judith.